Hello students, welcome to SR Concepts. I am Ravi Verma and in this video we will discuss the next topic, that is congenital disease. Dear students, congenital disease is one that is present at birth. It is often a genetic disease or disorder and can be inherited. So if a baby has a disease at the time of the birth, then it is called a congenital disease. It can also be a result of vertically transmitted infection. For example, we have discussed that HIV, AIDS, this is a viral disease, and this is transmitted from mother to baby by vertical transmission. By vertical transmission means from mother to the fetus through placenta. Now, what are acquired diseases? An acquired disease is one that occurs after birth at some point of time during one's lifetime. So, dear students, if a disease is appearing in your body after your birth, means if at the time of birth you don't have that disease and you are getting a disease during the lifetime, that is an acquired disease. Now, the diseases may be of two types: infectious disease and non-infectious disease. So, this is another categorization of diseases, that is infectious and non-infectious. Now, infectious disease means the disease caused by pathogens like germs, like bacteria, virus, fungi, or helminths, which are also the worms that enter the body, multiply, and cause a disease. So, if certain living organism is entering into your body and then multiplying inside the body and causing a disease, then such a living organism is called pathogen, and such diseases are called infectious diseases. Means the diseases which are caused by pathogens are called infectious diseases. Now, they are also called communicable diseases as they can spread from one person to another. Some infectious diseases are contagious, that is, they spread from one person to another by direct contact. So, if the disease is being transmitted from one person to another person through direct contact, then it will be called contagious disease. Other infectious diseases can spread by germs carried in air, water, food, or soil. They can also be spread by vectors, for example, the biting of insects and animals. For example, and there are certain examples of infectious diseases like typhoid, pneumonia, tuberculosis, smallpox. So there are multiple examples which you can learn, right? So what we got to know about infectious disease, it is that infectious disease is caused by a pathogen, and when pathogen transmits from one person to another person or one organism to another organism, the disease also gets transmitted. This is why the infectious diseases are called communicable diseases, right? And they can transmit by either direct contact. If they are transmitting by direct contact, they are called contagious diseases, and if they are being transmitted by air, water, food, or soil, or other agencies like vectors, right, then they are not the contagious, right, but they may spread by air, water, food, and soil. Now let's talk about non-infectious diseases. These are the diseases which are caused by factors other than pathogens and do not spread from one person to another person. So non-infectious diseases means which are not caused by pathogens and which do not transmit from person to person. They are also called non-communicable diseases. Examples of non-communicable diseases are diabetes, cancer, arthritis, and asthma. Okay. Now, the non-infectious diseases may be due to different causes. So they may be called with different names. For example, deficiency diseases. They are caused by the deficiency of one or more nutrients. You have learnt about scurvy, which is caused due to the deficiency of vitamin C. In the same way, metabolic disorders caused by the defects in metabolic reactions, for example, L-captonuria. So this is another type of non-infectious disease. So metabolic diseases or metabolic disorders are also the non-infectious diseases. Then degenerative diseases, malfunctioning of some organs or degeneration of some organs, for example heart disease, in which heart becomes starts malfunctioning. Then allergy, this is again a type of disease and caused due to hypersensitivity of immune system to external substances, for example allergens. For example the diseases which for example asthma and hay fever are the examples of allergy. So allergy is actually the hypersensitivity or hyperactivity, we can say hypersensitivity of the immune system to certain external substances which are known as allergens. Some people have allergy to dust, some people have allergy to pollen grains, right? And please note that asthma and hay fever, these two are the examples of diseases which are due to allergy. Then cancer, which is caused by carcinogenic substances or chemicals, pollutants or carcinogenic viruses. Carcinogenic means cancer causing. So cancer is uncontrolled cell division of certain tissues in the body leading to tumor formation. Now genetic disorders, for example hemophilia and sickle cell anemia, these are also the examples of non-infectious diseases. However, these diseases may transmit from father to or parents to children, right? So from parents to children or parental generation to progeny, they may transmit because they are genetic disorders, right? Now let's talk about modes of transmission of pathogens. So as you have seen that in infectious diseases the pathogen may transmit from one organism to another organism. So there are different ways, different types of transmission, different modes of transmission. Let's discuss about them. First of all, direct transmission. In this type of transmission, pathogens spread directly from one person to another without involvement of any intermediate agent. So this direct transmission, right? Okay, now this can happen in two ways: by physical contact. In this mode, the pathogen transmits when a healthy person comes in physical contact with an infected person. So this physical contact may be either normal social touch like a handshake or a hug. For example, the diseases like smallpox and ringworm and athlete's foot, these are transmitted by direct contact, which may be either touch or hug. Or the physical contact may be of sexual type, that is called sexual intercourse, right? Such diseases such as AIDS and gonorrhea are transmitted by sexual intercourse and they are called sexually transmitted diseases. Then the transmission may occur because of touch with or exchange of the body fluids with the infected person, right? So for example, if someone comes in contact with the sweat of an infected person, then the disease may transmit in case the disease is contagious disease or which is spreading by physical contact. So please note that contagious disease means the diseases which get transmitted by physical contact directly from person to another person. Now what are sexually transmitted diseases? STDs, they are called STDs. We have already discussed that the diseases which are transmitted due to sexual intercourse are called sexually transmitted diseases. The examples of sexually transmitted diseases are AIDS, gonorrhea and syphilis, right? Now what is vertical transmission? There is another mode that is called vertical transmission through placenta from mother to newborn baby. Dear students, during the growth the fetus is inside the uterus of the mother, right? So the nutrition from the mother's blood reaches the fetus through a tissue known as placenta. So placenta is actually a connection between the mother and the fetus, fetus. So there are certain diseases which may transmit from mother to fetus directly through placenta, and such diseases are uh, generally means at the present at the time of birth and called congenital diseases, right? So the examples of such diseases are gonorrhea, AIDS, right, which may transmit by vertical transmission from mother to newborn. Now let's talk about indirect transmission. The pathogens of some diseases transmit to healthy person through some intermediate agents, for example air, water and food. So if we talk about airborne diseases, in airborne diseases the infectious agent or the pathogen is transmitted from air, from by air or through air from one person to another person. In droplet infection, the spray of droplets during coughing, sneezing, spitting, speaking can spread an infectious disease. The droplets containing pathogen can enter the body of a person standing nearby and cause infection. Pneumonia and common cold are examples of droplet infection. So nowadays the corona is also may also transmit by the droplet infection. So droplet infection is actually a type of airborne transmission, we can say. When an infected person coughs or sneezes, a lot of droplets are coming out of it, the water droplets are coming out of it, and these water droplets may carry some pathogen which may enter into another body while someone is inhaling nearby the infected person, right? So what are waterborne diseases? Let's talk about them. Waterborne diseases are caused by pathogenic microorganisms that most commonly are transmitted in contaminated fresh water. Infection commonly results during bathing, washing or drinking, or during the preparation of food or consumption of such food. However, waterborne diseases simply means consumption of contaminated water. If you are taking a water that is contaminated with some infectious agent, then you will get waterborne disease. Now let's talk about certain examples. For example, amoebiasis is a waterborne disease. A parasitic infection of colon, that is a part of large intestine, with the protozoa Entamoeba histolytica causes amoebiasis, and this is a type of dysentery. Now dysentery means having severe loose motions, right, with pain, and there may be some blood also. uh, okay, now let's talk about this cholera, right? So cholera is a bacterial disease caused by Vibrio cholerae, and this is again severe diarrhea and dehydration, and it spreads through contaminated water. In the same way, giardiasis, an intestinal infection caused by Giardia parasite. This is again a waterborne disease. Now let's talk about foodborne infections or foodborne transmission, right? So distance foodborne transmission means when a pathogen is entering into your body or being transmitted by the contaminated food. Consumption of food contaminated through poor handling or storage can lead to foodborne transmission of disease. Food may be contaminated with bacteria, virus, parasite, or the toxins produced by them during their growth in the food. So dear students, sometimes the food is contaminated with the pathogens, or when a bacteria or some other pathogen is growing in the food, it may produce certain toxins inside the food. In this way the food is said to be contaminated, and if you consume such a food which contains such bacteria, virus, parasite or toxins, then you will get a disease, and such transmission is called foodborne transmission. Students, such diseases are usually called food poisoning also. However, food poisoning is a very general term which may include even certain gastric trouble when you are eating a lot, or when you are eating means over your hunger, right? So even that time, that may be called food poisoning. Now symptoms of foodborne diseases are generally cramping, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and examples are, for example, botulism. This is the one of the most dangerous type of food poisoning. Botulinum food poisoning caused by bacterium Clostridium botulinum. So botulism, that is a disease, that is a foodborne disease, or that may be called a food poisoning, is caused by the bacterium Clostridium botulinum, right? Dysentery, this is a type of dysentery which is caused by the sorry uh, Botulinum, this is another example, and dysentery is another example which is called by Shigella dysentery, right? And typhoid is again a foodborne disease. However, this may be a waterborne disease also. So, dear students, botulism is a very dangerous food poisoning. Dysentery and typhoid, they are also certain type of foodborne diseases, right? So, dear students, next let's talk about typhoid, which is a very common type of disease. You should notice that you have listened about typhoid in a very general way. It is caused by a bacteria called Salmonella typhi, right? The pathogen enters the body through contaminated food and water. High fever, weakness, stomach pain, headache, and constipation or loss of appetite are the symptoms of such disease. And Vidal test, which is a very common type of test, this Vidal test is done for checking whether typhoid is there in your body or not. Means the diagnosis of typhoid is done by Vidal test. So dear students, we have discussed all the modes of transmission. However, there may be certain other things may be discussed. For example, the transmission through vectors that had been already discussed here in this video, right? You have learned about that flies move the pathogens from one place to other place, or they are responsible for the contamination of the food and water, right? And you also have listened about malaria, which is caused by mosquito, actually not caused by but transmitted by mosquito, right? The mosquito, when mosquito bites a malaria patient, it takes the plasmodium, which is a parasite, and then enters it into another person when it bites. This is how malaria gets transmitted. So as the video has already been so long, we will be discussing the next topics in the next video. Thank you for watching this video. Prepare your notes from the video, or the Word document has already been given to you. You may ask the questions during your online classes. Thank you.